I thank you for joining me. I'm going to be reading the Earth class notes written by the 12th Apostle entitled The Arrival. In this special Earth class, I will focus upon what Jesus did when he left his mortal body in his crucifixion, when his relationship was restored with his Father. As he cried with a loud voice, he said, "Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit." And having said thus, he gave up the ghost, releasing his spirit body from his crucified mortal body, with his spirit body quickly descending into the earth to a special holding place called paradise, on the right side of which was a transparent barrier that separated the two very large temporary holding areas with the spirit bodies and souls of children and some animals and pardoned souls of some responsible adults. Jesus then proclaimed to all the souls there in paradise who he was and what he had just accomplished in his sinless life, his crucifixion, and crossing the great unknowns of his deaths and his crucifixion for their permanent pardon that they all gladly accepted. God's holy angel servants then took them all to God's home called the third heaven. Jesus' dead mortal body was taken down from his crucifixion and placed in a new white stone tomb by Joseph of Arimathea, a wealthy merchant whom Jesus traveled with in his ministry to the other lands of the world for nearly 30 years, until he came back to Jerusalem in his last ministry before his crucifixion. The idea of a burning hell has stuck. With the assumed pain and suffering scare tactics of those who seek to conform God to the image of a fallen man, with the results being a theology full of error. This era being believed, written, taught, and preached to this very day. Most will not admit that they are wrong in their belief about God and his plan. For most have much concern about what others think of them. The hill of the skull, now called Golgotha, where Jesus was crucified, has such great history that I will compare the major events there from its beginning to the present. God, being the same size and physical shape of a powerful young man in his physical spirit body, awoke from his continual sleep state, never to sleep again. He dreamt of having others like him, to love and be loved by. His desire was to create one man in his image with an unlimited soul like his, having 12 unlimited abilities. Those 12 unlimited abilities are: number one, mentality. That is an unlimited ability to think, construct, and compound knowledge, learn, plan, conclude, and understand through perfect, number two, perception in all areas of, number three, consciousness of every projected thought through, number four, imagination, by analyzing every logical alternative to discern each variable within a progressive plan consistent with his, number five, character, and number six, values, and a number seven, viewpoint of every conclusion and consequence compatible with his purpose through perfect, number eight, memory. Directed by, number nine, sovereign will, that established a righteous, number 10, attitude, motivated by a divine, number 11, instinct of a progressive love that appreciated all of this through, number 12, emotions for the pleasure of his goodwill. Many believe the human soul and spirit are the same, and is located in the heart of our body, with the soul being number one, mind, number two, emotion, number three, will, governed by our nature, and we receive a new nature when we get saved. That is an evil, dangerous belief, for it lowers the human soul that is like God's soul with 12 unlimited abilities with our instinct that we can change from self centered to God centered. How? Through love and obedience. Very simply, through love and obedience. Earth was the first thing God created when he awoke. The substance used in his creation was the infinite supply of light particles that had always emitted from the subconscious sleep state of his soul. The earth was perfect, and he began creating many hollow spheres with a giant hollow sphere that the others were orbiting. Realizing that he was going to need servants to help with his many desired projects, he created the only male servant angel that he named Lucifer. That means the bright and shining one. Close to his physical spirit image, but having a soul with 6 limited abilities. Those limited abilities being number one, mentality, an ability to function perfectly within God's will as his servant. Number two, perception of his responsibilities as God's servant. Number three, self-consciousness, that never needed to rest, sleep, eat or drink, age or die, as a powerful, perfect spirit being that could feel no pain and continue on forever. Number four, memory, that never forgets anything he learned. Number five, sovereign will, to function in his responsibilities as God's first servant, who was created by God. Number six, instinct, that motivated his limited perfect soul as God's first angel servant, totally capable of functioning forever, as God created him with an ability to travel at the speed of light, with his perfect limited soul in his brain, and interestingly, with no emotion. Knowing many more servants would be needed, God created a beautiful wife for Lucifer named Diana, with the same perfect limited soul abilities, with her primary purpose of producing many children for Lucifer that quickly matured to powerful angelic sons and daughters, with the first 3 sons being Thor, Gabriel, and Michael. Her birthing was painless and quick. All have great respect for Lucifer, and that is why none would witness against Lucifer and 1/3 of his descendants when they turned against God at his joyful announcement to all of his servants about his loving intentions, his intentions of creating a spirit man in his physical image and unlimited soul likeness. This caused Lucifer to think that unlimited soul likeness should be bestowed upon him. In Lucifer's revenge against God, knowing God's favorite place in the expanding universe was Earth, he changed Earth to a negatively altered condition with the rest of the visible universe that we still see today, especially where God first stood at the beginning of his creation, where Jerusalem is today. So, we have come to the arrival of the truth. Until next time.